Hey everybody. Over the past couple of weeks I've had some real sound issues recording video with my iPhone. I think I have it solved, so the audio I hope will be much better and a little more of it. In any event, back to the subject at hand here. The reason for the recording to begin with is a couple of weeks ago when my cousin Doug was still here, he and I decided to take advantage of a local site called Vulture Mine. It is a gold mine. It was a gold mine. It's been played out at this point, kind of. In any event, they've reconstructed what the gold mine was like in the late 1800s and early 1900s. If I remember correctly, I believe they said that it was one of the most important gold mines in all of the Arizona territory, state of Arizona. And in today's dollars, I think if I remember correctly, they pulled about $350 million of gold, which is a lot. There is a small mining operation on the property right beside the historic mine, and I believe it's still in operation. I don't know what they're pulling out of there, but it's owned by a British company. So in any event, I hope you enjoy the visit. It was kind of fun for us, and as I said, I hope you enjoy the ride. The first thing we saw as we walked into what was the town was Competition Rock. You can see the sign. Competition Rock was where the miners would get together and have competitions to see who could drill the furthest and the fastest by hand. Of course, I just can't imagine drilling through granite and some of the other rocks that are around here by hand. The sign also indicated that sometimes Competition Rock, the rock was used for new hires to see if they were going to be good employees or not, or whether they'd be able to be productive in the mine. From there we went over past the information center where we had gotten some initial information. You can see that Jake was allowed to come along with us on our tour since most of it was outside. And from the information center we walked over to the Blacksmith Shop, and there behind the shop was one of the biggest metal lathes I think I have ever seen, and beyond that was a tipple, I think they call, that was used to bring the ore out of the mine. From the Blacksmith Shop we went over to an open air area where they had benches and a beautiful gazebo. I understand the park will make group presentations there where appropriate. And from that area we walked over to the post office, and it was kind of neat to see an old wanted poster hanging beside the window. Bring the mail. From there we went over to the assayer's office and living facility. Without a doubt he had to be the most important guy in town, as it was his responsibility to assay the ore and let the miners know what the value was of the ore that they were bringing to him. There was also a spot in his facility where there was an underground storage area where the miners could keep their gold, their ore, safe before it was shipped out or purchased. This is all part of the assayer's office. You can see the ovens and different other things that they use to maybe even smelt some of the gold out of the ore. I really don't know, but I do know this. It was really well equipped, and it was a very large facility considering the size of the whole town. There was also an informational plaque on the wall that indicated that even way back in the day, they had equipment that could really be calibrated to a tremendous degree that I didn't know possible. I'm not too sure what the machine was called, but apparently the name of it was a Keller, which is interesting because that's my last name, my cousin's last name, and it's also spelled the way we spell our name.
Here's my cousin Dan outside the brothel. He will not leave this area. He's taken all his quarters that I thought were going to go to the laundromat to be used in the brothel instead. So we'll have dirty clothes, but we will have good smile on his face, yeah. And Jake, he's just wondering what's going on here.
Next we met the madam, and as you can see, she was quite a lady. A beautiful sofa where the gentleman could court the lady they've chosen for the evening. And here's the boudoir. Let your imagination run wild. This turns out not to be such a family-friendly section of the tour. There's quite a difference between where the company manager ate and slept and lived. And where the miners, if they didn't have homes of their own, they had a kind of a dormitory that we were able to take a look at. What's kind of interesting is that the doctor's office was located right next door to the brothel. So if you got ill, you didn't have very far to go. And finally, there was, if you got sick, there was a doctor in town who could take care of your ailments, and if you needed to be hospitalized, so to speak, they had a bed or a cot right there in his office. And what would any frontier town be in the Wild West without frontier justice and a hanging tree for them what needs it? Legend has 9 people met their end hanging from this tree. However, historians can only find documentation for one poor unfortunate individual who met his end right here. As you can well imagine, Arizona summers can get mighty hot. So right here in town, they have what can only be described as a huge outdoor kitchen and picnic area, table area, eating area, so that food could be prepared out of doors. The white kind of sail type cloth coverings for the windows could be rolled up and allow the breeze to just blow through, and to keep them a lot more comfortable while they're eating and cooking. Unfortunately, it looks like this poor fellow didn't get very much to eat. The cooking facilities are pretty impressive. The size of the stoves, the prep tables, the ice boxes, they just had everything that you could possibly have in the era and time where this all happened.